Alright, I'm back. Wow, I really wasn't expecting this to be 4 videos. But anyway, you've seen my game collection in its entirety. And like I said, I like to think of myself as a realist when it comes to games. I'm not the kind of person that'll just buy games. I mean, I am that kind of person, but I'm not the kind of person that'll just buy games like forever. And there's no way I can play all the games that I have now. I mean, there's no way. I mean, I could play them. I can never really complete them. I couldn't do it. Between this, my PS3 games, my PS3 games, my 360 games, and everything else. There's a few more right there, and some over there. It's not possible. Now, big ups to people that just like collecting, for the sake of it, or for whatever. I don't know. I don't know how long I'm going to be, living where I'm at. I have no intentions of moving, but I don't want to get to the point where when I do move, I have too many games to where I can't fit them all into wherever it is I'm moving into after this. Although I don't plan on moving. I just don't want to, My thing is, I don't know, I made up a little term for what I do. I call it console domination. Makes no sense, I know, but that's where like the stuff that I like, which is shooters, RPGs, and adventure games, and a little bit of other stuff, a few fighting games here and there. I try to buy games. I try to buy like the RPGs I like. I try to buy every RPG, not every single one, but every single game that I have an interest in. And I have a pretty broad interest, when it comes to RPGs, because I think of myself as a genre enthusiast, and I try to pay attention to the differences, and like each like one RPG from the next, one adventure game, one shooter to the next, and I just enjoy buying games that I'm interested in. And fortunately for me, I have a very huge interest, and buying an Xbox One or PS4 would be stupid for me because I have nowhere to put it. In my living room here, my PS3 and 360, they kind of bogart my. This is supposed to be a TV stand. It's a game stand, so they bogart that, and yeah. It's just not possible. I watch some people on YouTube and they have so many games, and then they got the Xbox One and all this stuff. I can't do it, because I love game collecting. Well, the thing I love more than game collecting is playing games. There's no point in me having, all of these games if I'm not going to be able to even play them, So. I just do what I like to, call just dominating the console. Like, just, if there's, like I pick a console like the PS2, which is my favorite console, and I just collect for it, I think some people, I don't know for a fact, but it seems to me like some people, or most people, I'm just taking a guess here, but it's like they trade in. When it's time for a new system, they trade in their system, the current system, and all the games. Not everybody, but most people. Enough people to keep Sony and Microsoft happy seem to trade in their old stuff, and games and all to get the new system. And I ask myself, I'm like, well, like how many games have they played? Think about it. Like the average person, in my opinion, probably plays, just the average person. Maybe like 10 out of every 20. They probably play less than 100 games. Like the people that bought the Xbox One and PS4, how many PS3 games or 360 games did they have? Less than Probably less than 100 because people have lives. I mean, come on, and that's just a waste. You know, like I like like fully exploring a system and the genres that I'm interested in. I don't just play games that I only have an interest in, or I don't just play games, that are like I'm unbiased. I don't play games that are, that are. I don't only play games that have good graphics or whatever. I look at a game if I like what I see, regardless of the graphics, as long as it isn't a side scroller. I like some side scrollers, but yeah, like I don't really have like a preference as long as it looks pretty decent. And people complain about PS2 graphics. I love PS2 graphics. So if I see a game that has lashed-in graphics or whatever, if I like what I see, I want to buy it. And there's a lot of good games here. A lot of good games. A lot of good games. A lot of good adventure games and stuff like that. But that's why I consider console domination, because you're giving all of your, when people trade in all their games, it's like, I think, like, what are you doing? Like, you're trading in all these games for a system, and mind you, when they release the system, who knows what their plans are. Like, sometimes they release a system and they may not even know the next 50 games they're going to make. I mean, they may know the next 50 games that they're going to make for the system, but most of those games are going to come out in like the next 4 or 5 years, And it just makes me laugh, because like I look at the Xbox One and PS4, and when I first saw it, they were advertising arcade games. Because the 360 and PS3, they had arcade games you could download, like Flock, Peggle, Shadow Complex, games that aren't really like, they're real games, but they're not whole games. I don't know how to put it. They're not really. I don't know. They're not like regular purchases. They certainly weren't like regular retail game length. And the Xbox One and PS4, they're advertising arcade games. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you making a system and you're advertising games that aren't even for retail games? So like, what are you doing? I don't know. It seems stupid to me. And then as I continue to follow it, oh, guess what, guys? You can now play Rogue Galaxy on the PS4. What? What? I mean, who really bought a PS4, with the intention? I mean, how does that sound? Man, I can't wait till the PS4 comes out so I can play Rogue Galaxy. What? Rogue Galaxy is 2 generations old. Like, it's on PS2. I mean, I don't get that right there. That's just because it pees me off, because like the PS3, if you've been to the PlayStation Store, they have a marketplace where you can download all these PS2 games. They could have put Rogue Galaxy on the PS3, but they didn't. To be, just to kind of F with us, I think. They're like, well, we know the PS3 has a great game library, so let's just hold on to these and just leak them out. And there's nothing wrong with the PS3. No, I refuse to believe that right there. The PS3 can play Rogue Galaxy. I'm pretty sure it can. It's just that's what they're doing. They're just whatever. They're just playing with us. Although, I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of good games out there, but no, that is crazy. Rogue Galaxy, and on top of that, they're taking old games. Oh, guess what? Now you can play Shadow Complex. Shadow Complex is a game that's a generation old. I don't want to play that game. I mean, who wants to play Shadow Complex? I mean, it's a great game, but it's an old game. Advertise some new stuff. Don't advertise, arcade games that aren't even really real games or whole games or like whatever. But that's just a few. My rants are totally irrelevant because there's tons of games for the PS4 and Xbox One. It just kind of pees me off. Not pees me off, but it makes me laugh when I see them advertising something that's a generation or 3 old. And that's it. I'll see you guys later. I'll start my Let's Play soon.